Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to another recording of Hearthstone. So last recording we played Rogue and Warrior, we got 3 victories, that's pretty good. Today we need to just play mostly Shaman, and then to break it up we'll play Rogue too. Shaman and Rogue, and work towards that goal. I was in a strange mood last recording, and let's just be honest, that was only for me a few minutes ago, but I'm gonna try and move on to a different conversation, different topics for this one, because I know these come out days apart, and it may feel very much like I'm talking about the same thing for 3 days straight, when really I was talking about the same thing for maybe an hour and a half straight, which still, once I say an hour and a half straight, if anybody's talking about anything for an hour and a half straight, they are ranting. So, I've started recording this series, Child of Light, and just off the bat, it irritated me to the point where first thing I had to say is don't buy the game. Because if you buy Child of Light, which arguably maybe you shouldn't, on Steam, all it gives you is an activation code and then makes you install Uplay, and then you have to activate it through Uplay, and you have to have the Uplay overlay on for Child of Light, because then like 2 of the screens won't work otherwise. Like, to see all your achievements are going into Uplay, not Steam, and Uplay is such garbage immediately. I've never even dealt with it before, but immediately it started crashing and giving OBS trouble. Fortunately, it stopped doing that, but just ridiculous amount of hassle and frustration before I'd even started the game.
We're using real source.
Just something nobody should put up. So if you hate Uplay, and I think you have a legitimate reason to hate Uplay, to have 2 DRMs, which by the way, you can't close Steam at that point. It's not like you can close Steam. You have to literally have Steam running and Uplay running, so 2 DRMs at the same time, just to run this game. See, I could restore 7 health, but why would I want to do that?
Did you bring some fish?
We're using real sorts.
Job done.
So you get into Child of Light, and it was described as a poem on the Steam store, and I think first of all that is completely inaccurate. Maybe a review called it a poem, maybe that was in the description. What it does is it has a pretty good intro video, and then it starts doing on-screen text that are in boxes next to the characters, just wherever the characters are standing on screen. So multiple times I've had characters standing next to each other, and then the boxes will overlap and you can't even read what they were saying on top of everything else. So yeah, that's super frustrating. Let's see if we can do 3 damage. Good. There we go. Job done. And so they bring up these dot texts that happen almost non-stop. The characters will talk, and sometimes they will go to it's an RPG, so it will go into the old RPG where it's a close-up on the 2 people's faces, and then you'll get more dialogue than normal. But usually that isn't the case. Darn it! I could have really used 14 healing right there. But the problem with their dialogue is it's all written to rhyme. And it's not like it is a complicated poetic rhyming that somebody who really knows what they're doing might do. It is what a 4-year-old would do as far as rhyming. It is literally just the last word in every sentence will rhyme with the last word of the previous sentence. And then, well, actually it's, you'll say one sentence and then on the second sentence the last word will rhyme, then you'll start a different paragraph and only those two have to rhyme. So there's no thought in it. This is simple just rhyming. And the game does it every single sentence. And there's a lot of dialogue in this RPG. It's just ridiculous. It's like they had no writers at all. And this is a Ubisoft game. How can that be? How can it be that you wouldn't have been able to find a writer who could have just written some dialogue? And they just must have committed. They absolutely must have committed to this insane, we're gonna rhyme the entire game dialogue. It's when they said it was a poem, I was thinking, oh, so maybe somebody will take every single bit of dialogue from the game and write it down on a web page, and you'll read it, and it will be like Homer's Odyssey, a great poem, or something like that, something that would be really worth reading. No, it's just rhyming. And then there is one character that I kind of like, that's too dumb to rhyme, so it's almost like it's a manners thing in this world, that if you are intelligent at all, you have to rhyme all of your words. And some of the words they pull out to rhyme are huge words, so this wouldn't really appeal as a game to younger players at all, because the words would be too big. And there's too much reading in it. If they had gotten any voice actor whatsoever to voice act these lines, it might have improved it. You could have easily hired just a very young voice actor, any child that would have been about 4 years old, and told them to say these lines. Since you're playing as a girl, for spoiler alert, most of the game, it would make sense if you had a child voice actor record those lines. And if it was spoken out loud, it would make so much, it would probably improve it a lot, but it's still very much just ridiculous dialogue.
Here we go.
That is silly. And the story's not good. It's just a standard RPG story. Very quickly after the first battle, you gain the ability to fly throughout the land, which completely changes the way you would play a game. Usually, you would be... Yeah, I don't know what you would really want to do to fix that. I think that should have been probably an ability you gained halfway through the game. Then you could have gone back to lands you visited before and done more searching. But since they did it in a different order, they...
Here we go.
They created a system where we only went through like one world, one of the 6 or 7 worlds in the game, and we went halfway through it, then we could fly, and then with the ability to fly we can now search top to bottom the entire area looking for collectibles. So I'm getting over 90% of all collectibles the first time I walk through an area. I suspect there might be a final ability that I have yet to get, but I'm probably 2/3 of the way done with the game now. It's a lot longer than
Feed the fish, landlubber.
most games I've been doing recently, but I kind of appreciate that too. Let's see. At the end of the turn, deal 1 damage. Let's go ahead and kill
Here
this guy.
we go.
Kill this guy. And then attack the face. And attack the face. So, on top of the RPG areas being kind of small and the story being terrible, it also has this weird thing where it adds and removes and then re-adds people to your team like crazy. And it shows the pop-up screen like, this character has left your team, this character has joined your team. And most times what will happen is they will leave your team for less than 5 minutes. You will do some action and then they will rejoin your team. Just for no real reason.
Yo ho ho! Grr! Grr!
And it's seeing the
Here
pop-up
we go.
saying they've left and joined your team makes no
Job
sense.
done.
The fight mechanic is the old RPG fight mechanic. You'll run into a creature and then you'll go to a fight screen, and the fight screen has up to this point only allowed me to have 2 characters of a team that has skyrocketed up to 7 characters. Only 2 of them can actually be involved in the fight at a time. So this game is certainly not long enough that you would legitimately play for a good amount of time with every single character. Mostly I'm sticking with just 2 characters and that's it. Because there's no way, even in the menu, as far as I've found, there's no way to actually even sort who's going to be the 2 characters that you start off with. The only way you can do it is you have to use one action in the middle of the fight to switch out a party member with somebody else. So yeah, it just feels very,
Get back, yes,
very like halfway
Here we
complete
go.
RPG thought. I don't mind an RPG being short. In fact, I kind of appreciate it. But then they've got some things that make it long. Every single fight is too long. It does have an interesting like blinding ability where in the main screen you can blind a character and walk right past them. And for most battles, that's fine. You really can just skip all of the regular battles, go do a boss battle, and the boss battle will get you leveled enough if you can struggle through the boss battle, which you usually can on a couple tries. And use that to just
Here we go.
I think oops. So it seems like you should just skip the fights. I'm so overpowered on the random fights that I will, if I get in one of them, I'll usually take them out in 2 or 3 hits now, which is where I want to get. I always want to be overpowered in any RPG, but for the fact that you have to go to a fight screen, I feel like I'm so overpowered. I should just be able, on the main fight screen, be able to run into it and it would just fall over and die and give me the XP real fast, just to speed up the
Here we
experience.
go.
But it doesn't do that.
Well played.
There's definitely some weirdness
Well
about how this
played.
whole RPG is being implemented.
That was a mistake.
It also reminds me that RPGs probably aren't the best games for me to cover on my channel. Because they always get to this point where you might want to grind, or they demand that you grind. And
Your soul shall suffer.
that's just not what I want, and it they could have done so much better if they hadn't gone to the fight scene. If it had just been in the main screen, it starts attacking you and you swing a sword and that's it. And it doesn't bring up the stats screen. You level up
was a mistake.
almost every single fight. You go up at least one level, which is just ridiculous. I thought this episode was close to the end. I'm just looking now. It's been only 15 minutes. Wow. One thing that is good about the Child of Light is, like Diablo, it drops gems, and then you can merge the gems together to get better gems, and you can merge gems of different colors to get secondary color gems. So you have, like, by default you have a red, green, blue. You mix those together, you get white. If you put red and blue together, you get purple. If you put red and green together, I think you get orange, and red and green and blue, I think you get yellow. And if you mix those three secondary colors together, you get black. And then if you mix a black and white together, you get a gold. And each one of those different colored gems does a different effect on whether you put it in the attack, the armor, or the magic slot. So it is a pretty cool system. I like the gem system. And what is even better is that when you find gems or pick them up after a fight, often the game will give you 4 of them. It takes 3 to upgrade them. So instead of giving you a one second level gem, it'll just say, here, take 3 or 4 second level gems, first level gems, and you get to decide whether you want to merge them that way or you want to merge them a different way, which is rather nice. I wish Diablo did that. I wish after every battle and every chest you opened, you got just large amounts of small gems versus a ever-growing, you'll just get one of a higher level based on whatever level your character is. Guess I have to do that, don't I? So yeah, I love that system, but then because it gives you gems very, very fast, you end up spending 5-10 minutes just playing with the gems, just upgrading and combining and doing that. And often is the case, you will end up combining all of your gems to the point where you don't have enough for each character. But you really don't need gems for each character because you only have 2 characters that you can use in the fight. I also failed to mention, in the fight screen, the turn order is done by a time bar. So your character will come up the time bar and there will be a casting spot, and you cast the spell there, and then there is the action of that cast, and depending on which action you chose, it could be a very slow crawl to that end, or it could be a very fast jump to that end. And if you don't get to the end and do what you're gonna do fast enough, then the bad guys very likely will attack you, and if they attack you, they will interrupt you and knock you back to the beginning of the bar. And so there's a lot of effects that will set you back or slow you down or speed you up, stuff like that. So often the fight really doesn't have much to do with your stats as it does with just your how fast and how you plan things. Plus, you can use the same blinding mechanic to blind a character and slow them down, giving you the few seconds you desperately need to
Fine.
to
I'll heal.
what was the thing? To cast your action. And you can interrupt the enemy, so if you schedule everything correctly, you will actually continuously interrupt the...
Do not push me.
Let's see. How do we want to do this? Let's kill this guy. And then... I don't see any reason to give our guy, our one guy, more health. So yeah, I think that's as much as I can say about Child of Light, which is quite a lot. It's... There's a couple of problems in scheduling, and these are scheduling issues more than about recording Child of Light. Is that I have a 5 o'clock time slot I'm trying to get filled, and I have a 7 o'clock time slot. And unintentionally, I have recorded The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, which is a story about a kid going missing. I have recorded Contrast, which is the story about a kid going missing. And now I'm recording in a different time slot, but going to be released around the same time, the story of Child of Light, which starts off with a kid dying. So just by some stupid coincidence, I have accidentally recorded. I'm having this big old time slot of kids that are in danger of missing or dead. And I certainly didn't intend for that to happen. Is this the time? I think this is the time to do this.
Do not push me.
So, yeah, that's just bad timing, and I don't know why there's so many games. In general, there's a lot of games like that. If you really start to think about it. Video games a lot of times try to pull at the heartstrings and have kids be in danger in this. I have Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. It's another game that I'm going to do pretty soon, and I'm gonna probably push it back a little bit. I have Lucius 1 and 2, which is
real knight.
just the Omen. Come on, kill this guy.
Hey, I can see my house from here.
So that's a story about a kid that's evil. Let's see, what do I have any other kids? Well, if I do a specific character in Borderlands 2, I will be playing as a kid, I think, but that's really not or as dangerous or heartstring pulling. Right. This.
Elements I like. Totems I love.
We're using real
Attack.
swords.
Let's see, can I win if I gave them both them 6?
I
That'd be
dream
9,
world trend.
15, and then think so. So let's do this.
Did you bring some fish?
This.
Elements I
This.
like. Totems I love. Totally.
We're using real sorts.
So I've got this down now. Unless he can destroy all of my characters. 2 blood less next turn should win this game for us. Without the blood. Well, I said unless he could destroy all my guys, which he was able to do. So I was thinking down my list of games I have.
Did you bring some fish?
If there were any more kid games. I don't think so. I think we're gonna gracefully be away from kids' stories for a little bit.
My shield for
Tomb Raider games, obviously no kids really involved. Oh, this sucks. If I can't. If I can't get past both of these, I won't win. And I don't think I am gonna win now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, Tomb Raider, Borderlands, Bioshock, I suppose, yeah. Bioshock 1 and 2 is about little girls being in danger. It happens a lot more when you start to think about it. It's a cheap thing. It happens in movies a lot too. You just don't. I don't think people.
There is a lot at stake here.
Bioshock, Borderlands, all the Telltale games. Let's see. As far as I know, I don't think there's any Telltale games that where kids are gonna be in danger, except for Game of Thrones. But just quickly play one more game. Yeah, it's just this witness. So, in order to avoid continuing down that path of scheduling, Contrast, for example, was such a short series and was rather disappointing. I don't even think I talked about it, but I like the concept, I love the art, but it was so short and they didn't really polish their game at all, and they didn't have enough gameplay elements that I was like,
Valera versus
I wish there was so much more to it than there was.
Watch your
If they made a Contrast 2, it'd need to be at least 4 times as big, longer, open world. Some of the collectibles, the luminaries that you collect in the game, aren't actually collectibles, so you don't have to get them all, and there's a lot of them in the game for no reason. You do have to get a small amount of them, but per level, and there's per act. There's 3 acts in the whole game. Go ahead.
Here we
This.
go.
Job's done.
So yeah, but Contrast was so short it only went for about 10 episodes, 10 30-minute episodes, and it was just a small team, and they weren't big enough to polish, and they weren't ambitious enough to make the game bigger. And then now the company Compulsion Games is working on their newest game called We Happy Few, which having played Contrast, now I'm gonna wait for some reviews to see how long that game is, and I probably do want to play it because it looks pretty wild and pretty
Here
crazy.
we go.
But
Job's
when
done.
I actually see what the full length of the game is, all I've seen now is people in early access playing it, and it doesn't seem like there's too much in it or an actual storyline plot to it. So far, it's been revealed to me. So what I was saying though was to help alleviate the danger of
Here
running
we
into
go.
just yet another game with where a kid is in danger. Next thing on my 7 o'clock slot will be Devil May Cry, almost certainly, which is definitely a game that should be in my latest slot. I'm trying to move the mature games to the late slots. I'm trying to put games that are going to be rated E or Teen Plus or Teen into the 5 o'clock slot. Ideally, my hope is that
Blood and
The-
plunder.
that
Here we go.
my hope is that my videos will kind of follow a pattern. 6 o'clock is Hearthstone, which Hearthstone in general is not a super mature rated game, but who knows what I'm talking about, and it's kind of a wrap up thing. 7 o'clock is the after dark thing where it's like adults only. It's the Adult Swim time slot. 5 o'clock is the random game I am trying to do, and then I believe 4 o'clock is the AAA game that isn't mature. So maybe we'll have 2 AAA games because there are a lot of mature AAA games going on at the same time, and that's certainly probably what's going to happen. Here's DMC will happen at 7 o'clock, and some other thing will happen at 4 o'clock. And I don't, am I doing something at 3 o'clock? Let's see. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. I'm doing another series at 3 o'clock, and I believe the 3 o'clock ones are the Telltale ones. Yeah, that would probably make sense. Of course, I am going to have to squeeze in some more episodes once we finally get into the final episode of Tales from the Borderlands and Tales, was it Game of Thrones? But I'm not too worried about that. Those are not going to go super long. I'll just push those back to 2 o'clock and 1 o'clock slots, probably. Let's see. We do this. And then we do this.
Blood and plunder.
Here we
Protect
go.
the faith. Up. Now, there was a sale for Telltale games again, and the thing I'm learning about bundles on Steam is they don't seem to get updated very often. So that you could get the Telltale bundle right now, but it doesn't include, I believe, the Minecraft story mode.
We
I
must
just don't
cleanse the
believe that
Sunwell.
is the bundle in. And the Minecraft story mode is only like 75%. No, not 75%. If it was 75% off, I'd get it without question. It's only like 10% off, whereas other things were 75% off. Let's see. Upgrade this. And then
Here we
play
go.
attack with this. And then attack with this. And then we'll do this.
Job done.
And And I think I've got it next turn. If I can just summon this and then play this and then attack with that, I'm fine. As long as he doesn't put a taunt guy up or somehow beat me in this turn. So yeah, for 10% off of the Minecraft story mode, I think I'll just wait till it's done. I've been keeping eyes on the Disney Infinity thing. I would like to play that game, but I'm gonna wait till it comes to PC, if it ever comes to PC, and honestly, I would much rather play every single other Lego game. Oh, I said Disney Infinity, I meant Lego Dimensions, I'm sorry. Look how easy it is to confuse the two. Let's see. I think I may have just lost.
Get back, you stabby
Avast, matey!
Here we go.
His armor saved him, darn it. Well, he can't do enough now.
Behold the might
Now
of
he can, darn it. I guess that deserves a well played.
played.
So yeah, I would much rather do like the Star Wars Lego game than potentially do Lego Dimensions where there's only going to be a Star Wars level instead of the entire game telling the story. And I don't even think there are any Star Wars levels in Lego Dimensions. In fact, as far as Lego Dimensions, the only thing that is there, well, there's the Hobbit Lego game that came out, and Lord of the Rings Lego game. That would be better if you're a Lord of the Rings fan and a Lego fan, just because you're not dealing with the Toys to Life garbage, which really does hurt the Lego game, in my opinion. You have to move the toys around, you have to do ridiculous things extra. So, in a lot of ways, Lego Dimensions feels like a lesser Lego game than any of the others. And it's sad because there was a Doctor Who level I saw some playthrough too, and I would play a Lego Doctor Who game where it was a full-length game of Doctor Who and experience it and have so much more fun without the Toys to Life aspect of it. And the toys aren't that good. They aren't. The good Lego sets are the big sets, not tiny little sets that can fit on a platform. Anywho, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps out. If you want to support me, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it and make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.